Nothing short of a Rolls Royce or a Bentley can better a full-fat Range Rover when it comes to automotive status symbols. But the thing is, between you and me, this shape Rangey's been out since 2013, so it's getting on a bit, and there's some newer contenders out there now. So the question is, does it prove that style never goes out of fashion, or is it getting a bit old hat? But before that, please take a moment to subscribe to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel. Remember to tap the bell icon too, that way you'll catch all of our latest videos. Okay, first up, although it's getting on a bit, this Range Rover is still a very handsome car. It looks more distinctive than a Mercedes GLS and less gawky than a BMW X7. And with that clamshell bonnet, side vents and floating roof, you really can't mistake it for anything else. Some Range Rovers are a bit more glitzy than others, and this is one at the flashier end of the scale. It's called the Westminster Black Edition. And what that means is everything that's normally shiny, chrome or silver has been painted gloss black. Considering so many Range Rovers are full of shiny bling details, this treatment really stands out. Actually, it's based on a Vogue trim level, which is close to being entry level, but that doesn't stop it from being properly luxurious, as we'll find out in a minute. One of the most iconic features of the Range Rover is the split tailgate. Keep it up if you just need to pop light shopping bags in, or drop it down for sliding in larger or heavier objects. It also makes the perfect improvised bench for putting on your hunter's wellies to take the dog out for a walk. Now, obviously, I wouldn't be going out for a walk wearing this dress. I would just put my wax jacket on over the top. Now, your pooch will have to be very comfortable with heights because this bench is quite high up. Fear not though, because you can actually get a ramp for your dog. So if your dog is quite happy with heights and happy to go up and down the ramp, it's perfect. Aside from wellies and dogs, you can certainly fit plenty of other stuff in a Range Rover. There's 654 litres of space in here, which is about on a par with a large family car such as a Skoda Superb or a premium estate car such as an Audi A6. There is a little bit less room than in other Range Rovers though, because the hybrid battery pack steals about 50 litres of boot space. That's right, this particular Range Rover is a plug-in hybrid. Now at this point I would show you the electrically adjustable tow bar, but you cannot get one on the hybrid. On other models it's £1,100. So if you want to tow with this car, you'll have to get an old-fashioned non-retractable tow bar. And it isn't the best one to be towing with. The petrol and diesel models can tow 3,500 kilograms, whereas the hybrid model can only tow 2,500. One potential issue with a car as tall as this is that you need to be a mountaineer to climb in. Fortunately, Land Rover has you covered here with air suspension that can be lowered by 60mm to make getting in easier. See? Easy peasy. Now, you can get long wheelbase versions and executive seating, but the standard seating setup is perfectly lovely as it is. There is loads of leg room, loads of headroom, and because it is so big, you can easily fit 3 people side by side. There's also your very own climate control, and the Westminster edition features the plush Windsor leather upholstery. There's even an electric seat back adjuster. Up front, you'll feel even more pampered. There are electric seats that adjust in so many ways. You could spend ages perfecting that driving position. Anyway, I think I'll come back to that later. And everything feels expensively made, from the soft leather seats to the leather on the steering wheel and the chunky door handles. There's loads of room for all your stuff too. There's this big centre console bin, which is air conditioned, presumably to keep the champers and caviar fresh. I'll just stick with water today. 2 glove boxes, and check this out, a hidden extra compartment underneath the cup holder area. Over the years, the Range Rover's infotainment system has been kept up to date with regular refreshes, and it is now really neat and easy to use. It connects to your smartphone really effectively, and I really like this split screen because on the bottom screen you can have information about the car, seats, climate settings, audio controls, and on the top you can have your sat nav, and that's really, really handy. While we're being picky, the touchscreens are a bit more laggy and less intuitive than those in some other Land Rover models, particularly the latest Discovery Sport. And the front seats are a bit short on side support. But we are nitpicking here. Overall, you really do feel like the lord or the lady of the manor. And with that in mind, let's see what it's like to drive. Imperious is the word that springs to mind. It sort of wafts down the road on its air suspension, letting you look out over the hedgerows and down your nose at all the tiny normal cars. You're properly insulated from that average, normal outside world as well. You feel like you're in your own little world in here. There's double glazing, the ride is awesomely comfortable, and you can't even hear the engine when it kicks in, and you're not in electric power only. It is rather serene. This is the P400e model, which combines a 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine and an electric motor for a total of 398 brake horsepower. That's enough to whiz this big old beast from 0 to 60 in just under 6 seconds. And if you really crave more performance, there's a supercharged V8 that has either 517 brake horsepower or 557 brake horsepower. And for more sensible people, there's a choice of 3 6-cylinder diesel engines. In this car, you can feel when the engine kicks in, as the transition from electric to petrol power isn't always the smoothest, but otherwise the 8-speed automatic gearbox, which is the same as you'll find for every other engine option, is super slick. This being a plug-in hybrid, the P400e is really the only Range Rover you would consider as a company car. All of the others sit at the top of the tax band, which means you would pay thousands of pounds in tax. If you're paying for it yourself, the business case for this hybrid Rangey is a bit more wobbly. The official figures say that you should be able to get 85 miles per gallon out of one, but that very much depends on how often you can use the electric power alone. Because it has such a large body to haul around, it will only do a maximum of 25 miles on electric power alone, which is great for short journeys, but on longer drives, that fuel economy will be hindered. We've seen 50 miles per gallon for journeys that lean heavily on electric power. In more realistic mixed driving conditions on longer drives, we've got around 32 miles per gallon. That's about the same as you'll get from the diesel, but if you run the electric battery too low, you will eventually be looking at around 20 miles per gallon. Now, unfortunately, we haven't got time for any serious off-roading today, and I do say that with a really heavy heart as an ex-Land Rover Defender owner. Sad times. Anyway, we don't have time for that today, but let me assure you, this Rangey is very capable off-road. Just take a look at this. The video here speaks for itself, but if you want the technical figures, there's a maximum ground clearance of almost 30 centimetres, an approach angle of up to 35 degrees, a breakover angle of 28 degrees, and a departure angle of 29 degrees. Phew! It can wade through water that's 90 centimetres deep too. Try doing all that in a Mercedes S-Class. Anyway, on the road, where the Range Rover will spend most of its time, it does feel large. Without the 360-degree camera and various aids from the park pack, you'll have to make do with a reversing camera and parking sensors alone. And if parking's not your strong point, then this can be a little challenging. It's also not an especially good car for the twistier type of road. Even though it controls its size and weight well, you can't really argue with physics, and trying to drive one on a small country road can feel a bit tense at times. Better stick to smooth, wide A roads and motorways. But come on, what do you expect from a car that's 5 metres long and weighs 2.5 tonnes? Inability to pretend it's a Porsche 911 to one side. It's smooth, it's luxurious, and it's kind of environmentally friendly if you drive it in the right way. And given there's nothing else out there that looks and feels this way, and given how special it makes you feel, we reckon the old Rangey is a very capable car. But what do you think? Tell us your take on the Range Rover in the comments below. And if you're considering buying a used one, or indeed any car, head to cargurus.co.uk to find loads of great deals from top-rated dealers, including approved used examples.